Who needs a proper Rolex Master 2 GMT vintage when you could have this, the Baltic Aquascaphe GMT? Welcome back to the channel, all you watch heroes and nerds, and today, well, we're going to be having a look at the Baltic Aquascaphe GMT, and I have a wee bit of a confession to make. I am an unashamed lover of vintage watches, and one of the brands that I absolutely adore in their vintage form is Rolex. The original Oyster Date is a watch that I own. I also love the Datejust, and I love the GMT models, and I love the Submariner as well. The old versions, they just absolutely do it for me. Which is probably a good thing because, first of all, I don't have the patience for waitlist, so I couldn't do a modern day Rolex, really, to be honest with you. I don't think I have any interest in that. And I also don't like the maxi dials. I feel they're too big, too ungainly for me. So those two reasons are the reasons why I gravitate towards the vintage models instead of the newer models. But it's also a question of price as well. These watches absolutely aren't cheap. They're a little bit cheaper if you go vintage for some of the older models and some of the less loved models, but they're still expensive nonetheless. Enter the Baltic Aquascaphe GMT, a watch with tons of vintage good looks mixed with modern technology and finishing to create the perfect GMT for me at pretty much any price point. And before we go any further, I do want to thank WatchGecko. I am a guest presenter on WatchGecko, so I do get to borrow some watches from them. And this is one of the watches that I have borrowed for them in order to do this review today. Now, this watch comes in at €920 on the Tropic strap and €1,000 on the bracelet, which is a decent chunk of change, but I do think there's a lot of value to be had here. This French brand has one hell of a good reputation for finishing and design, and they've just gone from strength to strength with their models, from the Aquascaphe to the MR01 to the Hermetique collection that they recently have come out with, all of which are incredibly well made watches. But will this pass my vaguely pathetic attempts to look at this watch and give it a critical eye? Well, let's find out. Alright, you watch nerds, let's get down to business. This model is a 39mm in diameter, 47mm lug to lug, 13mm thick. 1.5mm of that thickness actually comes from a really nice piece of double domed sapphire crystal, by the way. 20mm at the lugs with drilled lugs, making this great for strap changes, both of which have period accurate drills, which is just fantastically handy as hell. And finally, we have 100 meters of water resistance and a screw down crown. As it's a dive style watch, it also happens to be a GMT, which means that it has lume all over the place. It is fantastic for lume, and you definitely won't feel out of place in this department. The bezel is a bidirectional 24 click bezel. It is sapphire and it gives the look of old style Bakelite bezels, which again, pretty cool. Finally, this watch is powered by the Soprod C125, a GMT movement based on the ETA movement of old. It is an office/callers GMT, which means that you can quick set the date along with the GMT hand separately from the main hands. It is a 4Hz movement, beats at 28,800 vibes per hour, and 25 joules, and of course hacks and hand winds. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to experience the bracelets on this. It is a major downer for me because I really like bracelet watches at the moment. However, the Tropic strap is pretty nice and in keeping with the model, and I've really kind of grown to like it, if I'm honest with you. But I do absolutely prefer the bracelet as a point of, well, as a point, really. I'm going to move on from that though. This watch may not be perfect, but the level of finishing specs on offer for either €1,000 or less is just absolutely outstanding here. I love vintage styling. I love the pop of distortion on this watch, on the domed sapphire crystal, the screw down crown and the signed B amongst the granular effect. I think it's all, really good. You have a colour matched date wheel at the 6 and three printings on the dial of text, and that's your lot. You've got Baltic below the 12, an Aquascaphe in colour matching to the bezel just above the 6, and GMT along with it as well. It's, well, just the right amount of text for a watch like this, and that's all I'll say about it. There's no essays, no shopping lists, and no specs as long as my weight loss plans. It is just plain and simple 3 words. pretty sweet. Now on wrist, and I have a 7¼ incher by the way, it wears really, really well. Look, the specifications of this watch measurements actually match that of the Tudor Black Bay 58, but this one, in my opinion, actually wears superior to that watch. In fact, I recently reviewed the Black Bay mainline for Watch Gecko, and well, go and check it out yourself, but I thought the 54 wore the best out of the three of them, and this wears slightly better than the 58 because there's not as much of a slab side. But going back to this watch, all I can say is well played, you little French beauty. Well played. If you like this watch or this video or my general demeanor, then why not consider subscribing to the channel and viewing a couple more videos. You can also give it a thumbs up if you like. You know what? I think you should. Just give it a thumbs up for me. Now, links to Baltic's website, non-affiliate, will be in the description below, along with a link to Watch Gecko as well, so you can have a look at some beautiful, beautiful straps. Again, non-affiliate. Well, I guess they're kind of affiliate. I'm kind of affiliated with them because I'm a presenter, but this is not an affiliate link. So yeah, it's a non-affiliate link. Big thanks to Watch Gecko as well for loaning me this watch from their archive so I can have some fun with it. I've definitely enjoyed it and it makes me want to buy it. Maybe Christmas present to myself, maybe. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you have any other independent GMTs that you actually quite like from independent non-mainstream brands. I'd be really interested to see what you have. Rightio. Take care of yourself, watch nerds, and I'll see you all in a future video.